I was made for podcasting, baby. You were made for listening tonight. Gonna give it all to you in the darkness. There's so much we're gonna do tonight. I'm gonna lay it at your feet, 'cause you were made for podcasting, only listening. I was made for podcasting, baby. You were made for listening. And I can't get enough of this podcast, so let's do it right now. Well, that one fell a bit flat. I mean, let's be honest. We can be honest here. It fell a bit flat, but the reason for that, why? Can you guess why I decided to do a riff on I Was Made for Loving You? It's because it's just hit 1 billion plays on Spotify. So congratulations to the Knights in Satan's Service. Of course, I did a horrible, the audio on that YouTube short that I did was terrible. I mean, it was bad. But it was just kind of a shout out to those 4 fine folks. Of course, the Knights of Satan's Service, Kiss, Paul Stanley, the Star Child, Jane Cinnamons, we got him on the Demon Man, Space Ace Freely, and Anton Fig. So, welcome one and all to Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. It's relaxing time. This is after a miserable day of work and stuff, and I come here and you guys help me to decompress. Is that the right words for it? Decompress. We've got all sorts of stories coming up here. We do have some old favorites, but we've got quite a few new faces and new things that are going on. We're going to be talking about Vixen singer Lorraine Lewis. She's like, yeah, I was shocked by the announcement that I was out of the band. I was shocked by the announcement she was in it, but then I realized that the original singer went back to dental. She wants to be a dental hygienist, and she's like, I'm done with this roaming lifestyle of, young 40-somethings getting on our tour bus every night, and us just having a good time with them. But we got all sorts of stories, so welcome one and all. And I'm not forgetting, this is a no request zone. That's right. Anywhere else in any of my videos, you can request videos and songs to check out on my channel. But this zone right here is for your thoughts, your opinions on each episode of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. This is 137. Let's go. Look at the belly button on this fella right here. This is an older photo, right? Or has he been doing the keto diet again? Because that looks like a 6-pack of abs that's starting to form there. This is Fozzy. This is the Fozzy man, Chris Jericho, and Rich Ward, his guitar player. He's that guy that can just shuffle so good on stage. If you ever watch Rich Ward with Fozzy, he just does so many really cool dance moves and stuff. He says that Chris Jericho is one of the greatest frontmen that's ever lived in rock and roll. And I'm going to need you to get in the comments and tell me your thoughts and opinions on that. And it says, right here, says Fozzy. So he's a little biased because he's in the band, and that's the guy that cuts his check. But, nevertheless, in a new interview with On the Road to Rock podcast, it's a good name, Clint Switzer, Fozzy guitarist Rich Ward reflected on the success of the band he launched 25 years ago. That's crazy they've been around that long. With superstar wrestler Chris Jericho. He said, in part, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, we're really blessed. The Fozzy band started as a side thing for myself and Chris. It just kind of evolved into this passion project, which then we take as seriously as you would anything else you would do in your life. I mean, Chris is not going to do anything unless he feels like it's going to be successful, because he's a very successful person. He's got a successful mindset because he's an apex predator. Are they sleeping together? He's a great white shark. Everything he does is incredible. Well, you share the same damn tour bus as he does when he comes out of there after a bowel movement. How incredible is that? There's going to be a few things, Rich, that you're going to say he's not so incredible at. He might be an apex predator and a white shark and all this, but a great white shark. But he's got some stuff too, right? The fact that he's at his age and is still at the top in his industry, and he's got 4 New York Times bestsellers and one of the most popular podcasts in the world. And he's one of the greatest frontmen. He's got a podcast? What's the name of his podcast? Fazzin' Out? What's it called? He's a New York Times bestseller and one of the most popular podcasts in the world. And he's one of the greatest frontmen that's ever lived in rock and roll. And I'll stand by that. And him. He's going to stand by his man. They're good friends. When you're good friends with somebody like that, when you're really tight friends, like not in a sexy way, but when you're really close and you truly compassionately love your close friend, you can say things like that. It doesn't mean that they're gonna, make love at any point. He's just saying, we 25 years of friendship and here's where we're at with it, right? Ward also talked about the culture of VIP packages, which seems to be the only way for fans to meet the bands they admire these days. I used to do it the old way. You'd hang out by the tour bus. You'd hang out by the tour bus. There'd be you and about 4 of your little friends, and then there'd be some sexy ladies standing there. And then the guy, the roadie, would come out and say, "Who wants to play hide the pickle?" And then we all raised our hands. We do. And he said, "This kid, fucking kids. This ain't a fucking game for you guys. It's for the sexy ladies. It ain't for you kids. It's for the sexy ladies here." And whatever that game was that they went and played, those ladies never came back out. They never came back out to where we were at. So, but we would buy tickets, then go around to the back of the and maybe this is something that you young folk might want to try and do instead of paying $300 for a VIP pass. Is what you do is you just kind of get there early and you chill around the tour bus, and at some point they're going to pop out. And then you know what they're going to tell you? "I don't speak to you until we get to the VIP." Keep tongue closed. Keep mouth closed. We also talk about the culture of VIP packages, which seems to be the only, for fans to meet the band they admire these days. Some of these come at a really inflated price on top of the standard ticket cost. I wanted to go back and the 69 Eyes were playing a small club. They're from Finland. They were playing a tiny club that was maybe 200 people there, maybe. And I was like, you know what? I wonder how much their VIP thing would be. I might want to go back there and just tell them, "Guys, I love your, hi." It's $100. It's like too steep. So I couldn't imagine what a James Hetfield and those guys are charging for VIPs, or I don't know what Blackie Lawless. If you have the actual paperwork on that, tell me about it in the comments. Some of these come at a really inflated price, I'll tell you what, including anything from a signed item, a photo, to watching sound checks or a collectible lanyard. For a lot of fans, especially for old school rock fans, there's this kind of weird thing about VIPs charging fans to meet the band. And I would feel very odd about that as well. But we actually do a separate concert. So it's kind of a mini concert that we cap at a certain level. So it's almost like a house party concert. Really? And we use all of that money. Oh, they're going to give it to the cancer hospitals for the children. Oh, God, I know they're going to do that. Let's see. Let's read. They take all that money from the VIPs, they give it to the cancer hospitals. And we use all of that money. Nobody in the band gets to touch that VIP money. All that money goes into production and the operation of the business. So you don't give it to the hospital? Interesting. So it doesn't enrich any of us. We set that aside. Well, Chris Jericho just read this article, so whatever, dude. That's why I'm a fucking apex predator. A great white shark. I'm biting off every dollar I can get. So it doesn't enrich any of us. We set that aside as a way for us to buy new lights and to upgrade equipment and stuff like that. So we've reinvested it in the live experience that we give to the fans. And from the very beginning, we felt like that was important for us to do, is to figure out a way for us to reinvest in things that we need, and also at the same time, two birds with one stone here. It's really cool for us because we get to meet people, right? We get to meet these creepy strangers that we're in each town we go to. And it's not just grip and grin where you go, hey, nice to see you. It's a line. We actually get to play songs in front of 20 people every day at soundcheck and have conversations and hang out. And I think those are really cool. Good on you. Fozzie's latest standalone single, Spotlight, was released last October via Madison Records, The Orchard. The track was helmed by Fozzie's longtime producer, Johnny Andrews, who's worked with 3 Days Grace, All That Remains, and Hailstorm. Sonically refined by mixer Jacob Hansen. He's very good. He's worked with Volbeat, Amaranth, and Arch Enemy. So there you have that. Okay, guys? This is a great white shark coming after you, and an apex predator. Is this a 2-scarf night? No, this is just a 1 scarf. That's a big scarf. Let's get into it. Phil Demmel. There he is. That's Phil Demmel there, guys. Does he use Pantene? This guy uses Pantene on his beard. It's one of his favorite products. But this guy here, Phil Demmel, he does about 1,000 bands, and he's good in all of them. But, guys, he says Kerry King is misunderstood, and I wanted to delve deeper. I've done a YouTube short about it, but I wanted to delve deeper into Phil. I'm hoping that he gives us some rich stories about Kerry King and his childhood and anything that he can give us. It says Phil Demmel says Kerry King is kind of misunderstood. He's not in any way some super controlling dude. And I can tell you why he's not. Do you want to know why? Is he wearing them there? He's not. Those are tender eyes. He might look like a big, mean son of a gun. He might have that Pantene beard. He might be, carrying around a 10-pound chain on his side and tattoos on the head, which hurts. I've heard. Tattoos on the head are painful. Get in the comments and tell me if you've had them. But those are tender eyes. That's why he usually has sunglasses on, because your eyes emote. And people can see behind your eyes if you're being insincere or you're being loving. Like when you're sitting at dinner and you're on a first date with a person, that's where they're getting their information from. You're telling them about that you do this and you do that, and they don't care about that. They don't care about your job or anything else. They're looking into your eyes as if it's your soul, because they want to know if you're a serial killer or if you're a sweet person. Those eyes are tender. Those eyes cry. Kerry King's eyes cry, okay? And so that I believe him he's going to tell us some heartwarming stories about it. Let's see what he says. During an appearance on last episode of That Metal Interview podcast, Phil Demmel spoke about his working relationship with Kerry King. The Slayer guitarist recently unveiled a solo project, and everyone has been telling Kerry King that it's better than all the Slayer records he's ever done. Asked if Kerry is this evil guy sitting on a throne on a mountain, or is he a down-to-earth guy? The 57-year-old San Franciscan Bay Area-based musician who has previously played in Machine Head, Violence, and many more. He says this, he says, if you're going to San Francisco. No, I don't see Kerry as an evil guy at all. I see Kerry as maybe misunderstood. I mean, everybody's got their thing, right? He's not a perfect dude. Not like that frickin' Fozzy guy. He's a perfect dude. Wouldn't you say, Chris Jericho? He's looking out for us. Like, is this cool? He's open to any ideas. He's got a vision in those tender eyes. And he knows his songs, and he knows how he wants his production to be represented. But he's not in any way some super controlling kind of dude. Referencing the rest of King's solo band, which includes drummer Paul Bostoff, Slayer, bassist Kyle Sanders, hell yeah, and the fine vocals of Mark Alcigueta from Death Angel. Phil continued, it's been awesome playing with all four dudes. We spent a month on tour in Europe together, and it was fucking great. And every day we get better as a group. And I'm playing with some talented dudes and enjoying it. King's debut solo album From Hell I Rise was released on May 17th via Reigning Phoenix Music. All material from the LP was written by the 60-year-old Slayer guitarist, helming the sessions at Henson Recording Studio in Los Angeles. Last year was producer Josh Welber, who has previously worked with Korn. They're good. You get a little bit of Korn, you get a little bit of Lamb of God, Avenged Sevenfold, Bad Religion. I don't want to be a good citizen. I love me some Bad Religion, but it's not. People are not wrong when they say every song sounds similar to each other from Bad Religion, but Korn, Lamb of God, Avenged Sevenfold, Bad Religion, good stuff, among others. Demo previously talked about his working relationship with King during an April 2024 appearance on the Talk Louder podcast. At the time, he said, if there's one thing that I know with Kerry is exactly where he stands and exactly what he's feeling. He has his agenda, of course, but there's no meandering around with the point he's going to try to get to. And there's no steps being set up to. Okay, I don't know what the hell I just read there, but Kerry gets this stigma of being a fucking asshole. Okay, he gets that. Or a fucking dick. He's been called a fucking asshole and a fucking dick. I've heard it with my own ears. And he's not. He's a nice dude. And he's what? Empathetic dude. Tender eyes. He's a caring guy about stuff. It's not like he's this hardened dick. It's not like he's a hard dick, dude. And a blah, blah, blah. A lot of dicks. A lot of dick talk coming from Phil there. What? Hardened dicks and all this? Fucking dick? Jesus. I wish he'd stop with the mouth like that. He's a cool enough dude. He's in bands. He doesn't need to say the F word all the time. And it's straightforward, man. And I wish people would kind of understand that about other people. It's not him being a fucking, dick. Maybe it could be considered a dick. Maybe it could be considered a dick. But that's not his intent. He's just like, I'm not fucking around. I'm not gonna bullshit you. You know, that's good though, right? When you have those, everyone knows someone say, well, he'd tell you how it goes. He'll tell you straight from the hip, this guy. He will tell you what's going on. It's always good to have one of them around. That's the one you say, go do it. Go over there and do that. Go over there at the mall and start a fight with him. Oh, don't matter. He will. This is where we break dance. Go kick their asses and tell them to get out of here. Nearly 6 months ago, Demmel shared an Instagram live video, in which he spoke about how he ended up being approached to join Kerry King. We talked about all that, guys. We don't need to get into it, okay? Tender eyes, you have tender eyes, such a smile. That's a guy that cries to a movie. You know, he'll have his glasses on, his big, fly glasses like Bono used to wear, but he'll be sitting there at the couch crying. You'll see his lips quivering and stuff. He might not do it around Phil. Let's get into Blackie Lawless here. Look at him. He's got his arms crossed. And guess where he's at? One of them VIP meetings. That's the face you get. When you get back there, say, how much is the Wasp VIP? Well, it's $150, but it's well spent. $150. You could ask me anything you'd like in there under those circumstances. And you get that. Almost looks a bit like kind of like a Muppet in a way, doesn't he? Kind of his face, like. Anyways, Blackie Lawless, new Wasp music has to be better than the classic songs. It's not going to happen. What did we say last episode, everybody? This is now a quiz and a test for you. What did we say in the last episode? You have your whole life to create that first record. You only have a year to create the next. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get another freaking self-titled record. In a new interview with George Dion of KNAC.com, Wasp, we are sexual perverts. Now, I read that they said that we are sexual perverts. Anybody listen to that? Wasp live in the Raw? For years and years, I've said this was totally taken into the studio and audience and all. They may have done some. Someone's gonna say no, Shane. They did. I was there when they recorded live in the Raw. What I'm saying is they may have done that, but they didn't use much of it because the audience is pumped. Everything's pumped, and some of that stuff. It's still a great record. I love it. If you haven't listened to Wasp live in the Raw. Frontman Blackie Lawless was asked if he and his bandmates have been working on music for the follow-up to their 2015 Golgotha. And remember, he said he wanted to work on a Big Dirty Stinky, but it's not coming out that way. We have been, and last year we had done quite a bit of work in between the American tour and the European tour. We did a lot of recording and a lot of demoing. Is what we say in the business. And I thought I liked what I was hearing, and then I came back and I had a problem with my back last year, and when we were in Europe, and actually my back got broken while we were over there, so that was an interesting turn of events. So I have to have a couple of surgeries. Yes. Today, a band like us, it's all about your legacy, because we're not making records anymore to sell records. I mean, those days are gone. One story we're not going to be doing, but it's Mike Muir, Suicidal Tendencies. He says, this is great. Digital music and all that stuff. He says it's great. And it is great for bands that are on the lower end of things because they make a hell of a lot more money than they were making. Because if you're only selling 10,000 records, but your music's up there and people can go listen to it any time, that's recurring monies. But what we do, or what any artist does when they make a new record now, they are competing against their past. So your new album effectively becomes your opening act. And it's an opening act that's going up against songs the audience has heard and romanced in their heads for decades. Romanced. Like, come woman, touch me, put it in your hands, and take a hold, heart and soul, honey, I'm your man. I just heard that song, Shoot It From the Hip, today. Squeeze it when I'm done. Pull the trigger, squeeze it when I'm done. There's your dirty, rotten, stanky right there, buddy, Blackie. There's your dirty, rotten, stinky right there. But what we do, or what an artist does, is romanced in their heads for decades. That's stiff competition. So, when something new comes out, for it to even be remotely considered good, in all honesty, it has to be better than the original stuff, and that's no joke. You will not hear me laugh at the end of that. Put a period on it. It had been a while since I listened to Golgotha, and I listened to it, I don't know, a couple of months ago perhaps, and it was like, wow, this is a pretty good record. And it has to be that good to compete with the Love Machine and I Want to Be Somebody's of the World. Because again, people are romancing those songs in their head, and rightfully so. Music does a funny thing to our sense of time. It creates memories. The same way smell does, and think like that, like popcorn. He likes using that, he says, when I'm on stage, I like to have that popcorn and cotton candy smelling fog for my fog shooters. We remember where we were when we heard a certain song. And those are very powerful memories. And I'm glad we have that. But at the same time, when you're the person that has to create new music, you're constantly going up against the legacy. Testament's album? Oh. So, again, the new album will always be your opening act, and your opening act has to try harder just to get noticed. Speaking of opening acts, I think it's this coming Sunday. No, it's the following Sunday. The following Sunday, we're doing a band called Image of Eden. We've done them before on the channel. And this is the band that Blackie Lawless kicked off the tour. They were an opening act. Wasp's latest release was Re-Idolized, the soundtrack to The Crimson Idol, which came out in February 2018. It was a new version of the band's classic 1992 album, The Crimson Idol, which was re-recorded to accompany the movie of the same name to mark the 25th. There's a movie about The Crimson Idol. 25th anniversary of the original LP's release. The re-recorded version also features 4 songs missing from the original album. Previously, Blackie previously spoke about the progress of the songwriting sessions for Wasp's new LP in recent interview. We already went through that. But we want to read where he says dirty stinky again, because it's fun to say that. Never mind. No, we don't. Am I going fast today, guys? Let's get into this. That's a sad face, isn't it? That's Lorraine Lewis. And I was under the impression that Vixen was all good with Lorraine. And who did they get to replace her? Because Lorraine Lewis was the singer for You'll Never Get Out of This Love Alive. You ain't going nowhere, so don't even try. Who is that? Maybe they'll say it down here. Oh, that goes down the gullet. Good. Attractive woman getting up there in the years, but I love that. When they get up there, they still I go to the gym and stuff. I don't just sit down and watch people's cord all damn day. I get up and do things and try to eat healthy. Former Vixen singer Lorraine Lewis was definitely shocked and surprised by her dismissal from the band. And the band in question would be Vixen. In a new interview with the Bay Ragney Show, former Vixen singer Lorraine Lewis opened up about the recent exit from the band, Vixen. Why do I keep saying Vixen? Saying she was definitely shocked and surprised by her dismissal from the group. It's always weird when you get that call. I'm going to tell you a story really quick, okay? I'll tell you a very quick story. It's about kicking people out of bands. It's always terrible. It is the worst thing ever. I got 2 great stories. I'm just going to give you one of them because it's going to show you how truly big of wussy I am. Is wussy okay to say? I can't remember. But I have 2 great stories. And I'll have to just remember it. But this one, basically, kicking people out of bands is no fun. Well, we had a guitar player, and he had this issue that when he played the guitar, he never placed his finger. Maybe a guitar player can get in the comments and explain this to me, but he wouldn't place his finger, play the chords. He would bend. He had like a lot of tension in his hand. So even when he was hitting a chord, he was bending it. So it was never, and we was just like, this just gotta go. And so the day comes. This is true. So The day comes, and the other three guys have said, he's got to go. We got to get rid of him. He's got to go. And I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm just going, oh, my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I'll be damned if this guitar player doesn't come in with a brand new tuner and guitar strings and cables and pickups, because he'd had like a talking to, I guess, like, dude, something's going on when you play. And there's no more of that. So the guy walks in, he's got a big bag full of new stuff to go, I'm in it, I'm on it, I'm going to fix this, right? And as soon as he came in, I laid down on the couch. And then I slowly started to turn over on my side, so I'm facing the couch now, right? And they go, well, guys, we're just, things are just kind of not working out. And I'm not kidding you. Goodbye to Romance from Ozzy is on the radio. Time is gone. And I'm now just kind of melting into the couch with my face down, and they're going, yeah, it's just, you're not going to work out. We're going to have to kick you out of the band. And it's going, goodbye to Romance. And I'm like, oh my God. It was just one of the craziest experiences ever. So kicking people out of bands. The other story, very quickly, is this dude came in, ain't taking no shit. He went around the room. I know how he feels about me getting kicked out. What about you? And again, I'm down there behind my drums, like, twisting screws I've never touched, ever. Oh, I gotta get this fixed. Made his way right over to me. Shane, I know how he feels and how he feels and how he feels, but how do you feel? So let's see what she's got to say about it, okay? The Bay Ragney Show, Vixen, here we go. In January 2019, Vixen recruited Lewis as its lead singer following the departure of Janet Gardner. She's the one that wants to go back to being a dental hygienist. Lewis had already performed with Vixen in March 2018 in Durant, Oklahoma, while Gardner was recovering from a surgery. Speaking about her time with Vixen, Lewis told the Bay Ragney Show, as transcribed by blah, 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 I did my first show with them in 2018 when Janet had a brain issue. Oh. And I think that I can remember it was Choctaw, Oklahoma. It was a fabulous show and really great. Then Janet decided to leave and do her own thing. And I was invited to be the lead singer of Vixen, which was a great honor and a privilege and a pleasure, for sure. And yeah, that's basically what happened. So I was invited to come into the camp. I think that they needed me at that time. Yeah. And 5 years of rocking and rolling and having a blast. Asked if she was surprised when she was let go from Vixen. Lorraine said, oh, you said that a lot of people were shocked or surprised. I was definitely shocked or surprised. I thought that my statement that I released announcing my departure was pretty clear. I think that a lot of people have misunderstood it. So I guess it's important for me to say because, look, the bottom line for me, I had the best time. I love those girls. We had an amazing time. We totally kicked ass together. And I'm really proud of what we brought to the band, what I brought to the band. And I know that I did a great job, okay? No one can tell me that I didn't. I know this. You can say whatever you want about me, whatever. But I know I brought it, and I brought it every damn night of the week. And I do what I do, which I am a rock and roll singer through and through. And I love the crowd, and I love the people. I live for the people. I'm a people person. I mean, I live for the music too, don't get me wrong, but I love people. It's all about the music at the end of the day. So I'm a people person, but I love the music, and the music would, in fact, be up over my people person style. I'm an entertainer. I'm born to entertain. That's what I do. So for me, I wanted to let the fans know that I was no longer going to be the front person for the band. It was not my decision to leave, and I think that that's something that I do want to have to be clear and known. And that's not for anybody else or any musicians or anything. It's for the fans. Because I had a lot of fans reach out to me and say, "What, did you quit? Why? Why did you leave? Why?" And upset that I left. And plain and simple, it was not my choice to leave. And I think that that is all I really need to say about that. I think that that is all I really need to say about that. It was not my choice. I was surprised. I thought we were getting ready to go on tour for the summer. So I was all ready to rock and roll, be with the people. And again, I miss the girls. I love those girls. And we had the best ride. And I'm still honored and so humbled and grateful to have been a part of Vixen. And I brought to the table what I brought to the table. Do you want to know everything I brought? I brought to the table an amount of touring that I got to do, what I brought to the table and the amount of touring that I got to do with them and have a blast. And I think that the fans really, 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 really loved it. Here's to the fans and to the friends of the band. You are the people that really matter to me, and I love you all so much. It was important for me to let the people know because shows were coming up and I felt it was my right to say what I wanted to say as gently as I could. And so I released that statement on a Sunday and let people know. And yeah, I'm sure that people were surprised and shocked. I know that they were because my phone blew up like crazy and hasn't really stopped. But that's really all I can say about that. I had a great ride with them. So there you go. There you go. A couple more things here before we get into your comments. Look at this guy. He hasn't ZZ Top, Elwood Francis. Hasn't he just kind of, no one will ever be Dusty Bottoms. Is that his name? Dusty Bottoms? But he says, I'll never be in the band. Guess what? Elwood, you're in the band. Have you seen that guitar he plays that's got like a billion strings on it? Look at that drum set back there. Wow. ZZ Top new bassist Elwood Francis. He says, I'll never be in the band. I wonder if he does that, because Dusty Hill, I just saw it. Guys, I just read it right there. It didn't come into my mind. I just read it. But he did do all those little, oh yeah. Who doesn't love ZZ Top? Get in the comments and tell me if you don't like ZZ Top. That's crazy. Elwood Francis, who has played bass for ZZ Top for the past 3 years, has told Guitar World magazine, and it's been a weird stepping in for the band. Late bass player Dusty Hill. He was the guy, I think he's the guitar tech. He's been their guitar tech for years or something. The 72-year-old Hill died on July 28, 2021 in his sleep at his Houston, Texas home. Best way to go? In your sleep? Don't you just stay in the dream zone? That should be a rule. If you die in your sleep, but you're in full REM and you're fucking flying over, Montego Bay, you got to stay there. You got to keep doing that. I like to get every last drop so I can wipe it on my shirt. Gonna pop another bad boy, another lemon water. ZZ Top played its first show following Hill's death on July 30th. Okay, what are we talking about? July 28th? What? So 2 days after he was dead, they didn't even go to the funeral? Hill died on July 28, 2021. Played their first show July 30th, 2021. They didn't even go to the funeral. In Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That could have held off. You could have said, let's go to Dusty's funeral. It's only Tuscaloosa. Francis made his live debut with ZZ Top on July 23rd, 2021 at the Village Commons in New Lenox, Illinois, after Hill was forced to return to Texas to address a hip issue. Yeah, I do remember him stepping in for some shows when he was having the hip problems. Have you ever seen my video on Dusty Hill about his buns? Go watch that, unless I set it to private because someone was going to yell at me. But I did a video where there's like, you know, he had some plump buns, so I could see where he'd have a couple hip problems. When I first started doing it, Dusty was just sick and going home for a few weeks. It was entirely different. I was just helping out. I didn't have to worry about the weight of the crown because I was just helping. They pulled me aside and said, can you honestly say you can't play his parts? I said, I can do it, but I don't think people would enjoy me doing it. You dig? They said, you can cover him for a few weeks. Francis, whose place in ZZ Top was made permanently shortly after Hill's death, like, you know, August 2nd. They're like, yep, you're in. Went on to say that he still doesn't consider himself part of the band. We done some gigs when Dusty passed. And by that time, I wouldn't say I was comfortable being, because I'm still not fucking comfortable. You don't need to say the F word like old goddamn Phil Demmel all the time. I'm still not fucking comfortable. But I had a piece of paper on the riser for the first 2 shows if I got in trouble. By the 3rd show, I got rid of that. I said, get rid of that paper. Then I just did the shows. I just said, throw that paper. They came over to me and they said, Elwood, you need that paper. I'll put that paper on that monitor for you. So I get that paper out of here. I don't need that paper. It's just weird, he continued. Dusty is their bass player. I'm not the bass player. I'm not in the band. I'll never be in the band. I shouldn't be in the band. It's Dusty's thing. Sure, I'll still play with him. But it's a weird thing, man. Hill joined ZZ Top a year after its formation in 1969. In a June 2023 interview with Classic Rock, ZZ Top frontman Billy Gibbons, the Billy Boy, said about how Francis, who was ZZ Top's longtime guitar tech, came to join the band following Hill's passing. Dusty was a great guy, a swell singer. He provided a solid platform for me to solo without having to look back. Yeah, dig it, man. He was always on it. Dusty used to say, if I'm late to the stage, be sure to give my guitar to Elwood. Because Elwood is a family member. He's been with us for 3 decades, and sure enough, Elwood picked up that part and pieces to replace Hill in ZZ, the Z-Man Top Man. But whereas Dusty played with his fingers, Elwood uses a pick. It's a little sharper. He brings a little more finesse. You dig? And at the first rehearsal, he showed up with a full beard, longer hair than mine. Yeah, I do like that. I do appreciate the fact that Elwood went with the look and said, I got to get the beard. And how weird is it that the drummer's name's Beard, Frank Beard, and he doesn't have a beard? It's just fun. Gibbons admitted there was a lot of curiosity surrounding ZZ Top's return to the live stage without Hill. What's this going to be like? Can this guy hold up the bottom of the top? In a trio, it's a big challenge. Everything has to be working at 110%, baby, you dig. But Elwood was ready, having been part of it for so long. Dusty said, the show must go on. That's what his wish was, and we granted it. So there you go. So, buddy, what Mr. Gibbons has told you, see, that's good. He fit right in. Well, they got a freaking mariachi, a skeleton wearing a mariachi hat over there. These guys are fucking wacko freaks. They like to have fun. These fellas are going to pass away on stage. ZZ Top will pass away, and it will be like they all died of old age on stage playing legs. She got legs. And just everything stops. They just turn the lights off and go, everybody, thank you for coming. Let's get into this really quick, and then we're going to get into your comments. That's right. The best part of the podcast. There he is. There he is, that sociology teacher, that geologist teacher. It's also a.k.a. James Hetfield. And those are tender eyes. You tell me, let's battle them out. Tell me I don't know tender eyes when I see them. That's some tender stuff. There's Kerry King's tender eyes. Look at those eyes. This is a man who cries. This is a man that will cry in front of his son and say, Daddy, why you hooking crying? You look like a big goddamn pussy. And he'll say, men cry, son. Real men cry. But he's going to be in a movie, guys. He's, if you remember, I gave you a little spoiler, and I don't think anyone put it in the comments. Perhaps they did. But James Hetfield, this is not his first rodeo being in the films, in the feature films, because he's going to be in a new Western thriller called The Thicket. And I want to learn about that. But he was the police officer who stopped Ted Bundy in that series. The Ted Bundy series that was on Netflix. James Hetfield is the cop that pulls him over when he grabs that girl at the mall. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's the exact scene, but something close. But I'll tell you what, if it's got James Hetfield in it, I'll watch a country western movie. I don't regularly like to watch them, but I do like this here, dark western thriller. So I might possibly watch this. Here is the first look at Metallica's James Hetfield in the upcoming dark western thriller, The Thicket. And yes, indeed, hey, look, Tubi Films. Sweet, we can watch that, everybody. I know we got some Tubanites that listen to this podcast, but it will be free to watch. Tubi Films has released the first photos of its upcoming dark western thriller, The Thicket, which includes a role by Metallica's James Hetfield. Check out the pictures below, and we will get to it. Based on Joe R. Lansdale's novel of the same name, The Thicket, will be released in theaters on Friday, September 6th. What? When's it going on Tubi? Oh, they got that little fella in there. Peter Dinklage plays Shorty. Of course he does. A bounty hunter enlisted to find a woman who has been kidnapped by a violent killer. They were all violent killers back. Even the calmest killer back in the old Western days was a violent killer. The movie, which is set at the turn of the 20th century, follows Shorty and his fellow trackers as they travel into a violent and chaotic place known as the Big Thicket. The Thicket also stars, wonderful, look at this, Juliette Lewis. You might know her from Yellow Jackets. Nah! I know her from freaking... What was the movie? The movie, with the weed head. Something serial killers. It also stars Esme Creed Miles as Hannah. Oh, maybe not their names. Lavon Hawk, Leslie Grace. Oh, I can't say that name. Benga Akingabi. Macon Blair. Oh, that's an English guy. Hello, I'm Macon Blair. And Ned Dennehy. Is that so-and-so's? Okay, who cares? Production on the film took place last year with Blitz director Elliot Lester behind the camera and Christopher Kelly penning the script. Lester told Collider about adding Hetfield to the film. The casting of James Hetfield in The Thicket is a story that feels almost destined. It's a story that feels almost destined. It all began with a dream. One morning I woke up, I was completely naked under my blankets, but I woke up with a clear vision that James had to be in the movie. James Hetfield, a rock god, embodies a raw poetry that fits perfectly with the character we envisioned. I'm telling you what right now, this fellow right here, who is this guy again? Do you remember in the last episode when I said watch him with a cigar sitting there and you will see emotion and you will see that's what that guy was watching. It had nothing to do with Metallica whatsoever. He saw a couple of them shorts of James Hetfield smoking a cigarette and appreciating life, and he said that's the man for the job. One morning I woke up, I was completely naked, and I had a vision of James Hetfield in my head. It was there when I was sleeping, it was there when I woke up. To be in the movie. James Hetfield, a rock god, embodied a raw poetry that fit perfectly with the character we envisioned. From the moment Peter Dinkman, the Dinklage, and I were relentless in our pursuit, and we did ask for snake pit passes, but that's besides the point. We tried every possible avenue. His manager, mutual friends, the snake pit. We got down there and asked people in the snake pit. Anyone who could help us reach him. Our breakthrough came when writer-director Sasha Gravasi, Anvil, the story of Anvil. Hey, that's a great documentary if you haven't seen that. It's about the Canadian metal band Anvil. It's called Anvil, the story of Anvil. Who had a connection to James, stepped in. Despite our efforts, we were unsure if James would even consider the role. We sent him the script, along with a Hail Mary, and waited. To our delight and pleasure, within days, we heard that James was interested. Me and the Dink Man, we just slapped hands. He was hard-working, diligent, and fully embraced his role with passion that he has that brought a unique intensity to the film. The journey with James has been extraordinary, and his presence truly elevates The Thicket to a new level. Now, don't tell me he gets killed in the fucking fifth scene, okay? Don't say he brought it to a new level because you want to get those Metallica dollars in there. Let him be a star, okay? He doesn't have to live as long as Peter Dinklage does in the movie because he's shorty. He's the main star. But he needs to be in there for a while. Back in 2019, what? There you go. Back in 2019, Hetfield had a part in the Netflix thriller Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile. That film followed the relationship between notorious serial killer Ted Bundy, played by Zac Efron, and his longtime girlfriend, played by Lily Collins, who had at one time had no knowledge of the crimes. Yeah. You know, she's like, wait a minute, Ted. Let me get this straight. You have been murdering women? Jeez. And biting them and stuff, going into the college dorms and stuff. That's not good. Who at the time had no knowledge of the crimes. Hetfield played Officer Bob Hayward, a no-nonsense Utah Highway Patrol veteran who was the first law enforcement officer to arrest Bundy. There you go. In 1975, after pulling the killer over and discovering burglary tools in his car, but wisely suspecting much, much worse. While Hetfield had played himself in other films, like Through the Never, right? And television productions, this was his first dramatic role taking on a different character. So there you have that. Let's take a peek at him. There he is. Oh, there's the Dink Man. Oh, he looks good. He says, look, someone get me up on this horse here. That would be interesting to me in The Thicket. I would like to watch that if Peter Dinklage... If there's a scene where you actually see Peter Dinklage climb up on the horse, I want to see that, please. There he is. And he's the sheriff, guys. He's a dirty sheriff. He's a guy that I may or may not have a couple of tricks up my sleeve. And there's Juliette Lewis. She's great. It is that time, my friends, for your comments. I feel like this is just going well. Really good, actually. And I'm seeing here, this is my favorite time of the podcast is your comments, but I'm seeing Mike Buchanan, who is there, but it says, well, crap, sorry about the lack of jokes. But I noticed he's down here. So we're going to go down here first. Aren't we? Do we got read more? So I got to look. Yes, we got him. Okay. Okay, that's a joke. So what we're going to do, we do this in real time, people. This isn't, okay. So this is just a tiny one. Or did he get it? Should we refresh? Because I'm seeing ... dots. Oh, God. Here we go. It's a great intro. Hey, look at this. Oh, we got read mores. Let me look. Read more. Read more. You know what? I'm wondering if it's when I click that thing there. Watch this. There you go, baby. I mean, that's high quality. We're going to do this just the way it is right now, because if you notice, when I click this thing that I used to do, because I was worried about Miss Althea's comments, so she said, if you click the newest thing, and I think that might be doing something goofy, because all the read mores are here. Let's go for it. Let's get into it. It is time. It is time for your comments. Let's go. Rock for you now. Great intro. All sorts of emoticons and everything else. That gets you a thumb and a heart, my friend. Let's see your stats. You got another. Rock stars. Yeah, we've done a couple requests for him. Let's see. He's got 22 hearts received. Doing good. Oh, Rask. Yeah, I didn't want to read all that. Rask, yep. He's got 3 hearts received and 10 comments. Interesting. Rask, Nikki 9 stole Nikki 6's name. Nikki 9 stole Nikki 6's name? Okay, you're making it silly. I don't know what that means. Ultimate Sin coming in here. Shane, is it true your style of drumming came from Randy Castillo? No. Randy Castillo was way better than me, but he was one of my earliest influences on the drums. Ultimate Sin was one of my earliest concerts, and I can't even remember. My first concert ever was a Bark at the Moon and Motley Crue, but I can't remember. That's my little brain's going cuckoo. So I don't know if he was there yet or not. But when they came for Ultimate Sin, I was fully on board. I loved Randy Castillo. I loved everything, the drum set, his smacking the sticks on the skull, all of it, everything. So he was an influence. There you go. But way better. I was very clompy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to read Mike Buchanan's stuff, then go back for jokes. This is turning out very professional-like, if I remember the jokes. Here we go. Mike Buchanan coming in here. He says, the opening song deserves an EGOT. Bravo, good sir. Best opener yet. That's an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. So guess who's getting a thumb? Let's begin with movies that are bad, but we love them anyway. Beach Balls. There's a lot of sex in that, I know it. 1988. And Miss Althea thought she could trip me up by asking if I knew that Philip Paley, Chaka, Land of the Lost, was in a Roger Corman movie. Sure, it's formulaic and follows every stereotype of the time, but I had fun watching it. It doesn't get as much love as similar flicks from that time. I'm not sure what people expect when they watch a movie called Beach Balls. For Corman's production in the 80s, it's a fun 80s beach flick, much like most of the 80s beach and ski teen comedies. Yep. It's not in the same league as Hard Bodies, Hot Dog, or Spring Break, so he knows what I'm thinking about the Nakeds. And it would have benefited greatly from a few more beach and skin scenes, so he knows exactly what I'm thinking. But it definitely fits squarely in the 80s teen sex comedy genre, like Revenge of the Nerds. Remember that guy? Oh, yeah, pie. Sorry about that. Grab your favorite beverage, pop some popcorn, sit in your favorite chair, and press play. There, I switched up the tagline for Miss Althea. Not sure how I feel about that. Okay, let's run it again. Grab your favorite beverage, pop some popcorn, sit in your favorite chair, and press play. Not bad. Oh, and the soundtrack for the movie is 80s glam metal heaven. I know I have 2 videos that tie into movies that are bad, but we love them anyways. I'll pop over to Patreon, a little teaser, DR Star. Who dat? That name? Looks familiar. Mike Buchanan says, yo, this goes out to all bands. Fans do not want Avatar concerts. Sorry, Nikki, when it comes time for your band to end, please just fade away with grace and dignity instead of trying to grasp onto the little light that's left. He let you have it. Guessing Blabbermouth didn't have any stories on backing tracks being used and went with Paul Stanley's guitar collection. Yeah. There was some stories I could have brought up. Who was talking about it? That's saying it was a damn shame. Oh, now Mike Tramp's getting into the mix, and he's saying, you know, these people are hacking ass, or what do you call it? They're just being hacks out there, not singing because they're not 23 anymore. Well, I'm sure there are some people out there, fans screaming over it. I'm not. Time to start selling off the collection. Let's see. Mike Buchanan says, really couldn't say how good Lars is playing these days. He very well could be, but alas, ticket prices to their concerts are way out of my price range. Yeah, they've been gone a long time. It's like the little thrash kid can't go see that. Mike Buchanan says, I remember begging my mom for subscriptions to Hit Parader and Kerrang, and do remember reading Circus while hanging out at the local record shop. There was another big magazine, too, that I'm just flashing in my brains. Not Rip, but... Mike Buchanan on Blackie. Blackie Lawless, you need to flush after you've made a stinky. But seriously, as we as fans want the old sex and drugs and rock and roll you used to make, instead of the religious themes you seem to want to make nowadays. Perhaps I might get back into reading Stephen King again. It's he's over that thing with Blackie. Now he's on to this. Perhaps I might get back into reading Stephen King again. It's been many years since I've read one of his books, and yes, Joey Belladonna is an amazing Journey singer. And I'm telling you right now, if he was to step in and be Journey's frontman, and they go on tour, I will be the first in line to get tickets. I'd go. Mike, you got a bunch of jokes here. Should we go with this set of jokes? Let's see if they're copy and paste. And now it's time for the Jive Talkin' Jokes of the Week. Who wants to see a puppet show? Minus the puppets. Let's see a show of hands. That's good. I'm going to jog from Sweden to Finland just so I can cross the finish line. Why do golfers wear 2 pairs of pants? In case they get a hole in one. Here goes nothing. Stephen King has a son named Joe. Seriously, I'm not joking. Yeah, his name's Joe Hill. Didn't he do that Horns movie? I think he goes by Joe Hill because he doesn't want to be embarrassed by his dad's writing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding about that, okay? Clive Barker had two great books that I absolutely loved. And readers, regular readers, will know that it's rare when you fall into a book and you're invested in it. It's hard for me to do that. But the books that I loved from Clive Barker was The Great and Secret Show, which was a wonderful book. I loved it. And then the follow-up to it was the sequel called Everville. And those books took me right in. And Stephen King's dialogue, the way his characters talk, just pulls me right out of the book every time. Mike Buchanan says that sometimes just because I tuck my knees to my chest and lean forward, that's how I roll. Why don't pigeon noises echo? Because acoustics. And finally, did you know that the swordfish has few predators to worry about in the wild? Well, except for the seldom seen penfish, which is said to be even mightier. Do you see? Sword, pen. That's very good. I appreciate that. Now, there's your heart. I want to go back here and look at these and see. Oh. Can you copy and paste these, Mike, for next time? Pretty please. I want to get on to Miss Althea. I'm sorry, but come on, man. Just copy and paste those. Thank you. Please. Thank you. Did I say thank you, please? The dumbstruck fool says, it's Miss Althea now, Nikki 6. She's talking Nikki 6. Okay. Is this whole Avatar thing and that discussion going to end up the bastard cousin to backing tracks? Oh, yeah? Is it going to get to the point where basically no one performs live anymore and concerts are going to be nothing but a big 3D illusion against a soundtrack? I'm tired. Why can't bands just be made into Saturday morning cartoons like they were in the 70s? That would be far more entertaining to me, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I would go that route. I would probably watch any cartoon of any band if it was like LA Guns cartoon. You're like, fuck it. Why not? Not to say that LA Guns would be a terrible choice for a cartoon. I'm just saying you got to have pizzazz in there, you know. You know, could you have a Gore cartoon? I'm sure they've had one already. Miss Althea on Paul Stanley. Don't care about his guitar collection, but the tennis player you were alluding to, was Andre Agassi, not Agassi. Okay, Agassi. You were close, though. Thank you. Miss Althea says, 80s metal mags. Yes, there was Rip, Kerrang, Hit Parader, and Circus, but there was also Cream, which actually started in the late... I remember, yeah, it was like way early. Like it had freaking Bob Dylan and stuff on the cover. And why am I thinking there was a band called Cream? And shouldn't they have been on it? And wasn't that the band with the guy that sang Tears in Heaven? Which actually started in the late 60s, early 70s. Metal Hammer, if you could find it, since it was from the UK, I do remember that, and the Almighty Metal Edge. That was the magazine. Jerry Miller, the editor-in-chief of Metal Edge in its prime, was present at a Slaughter after-show party that Dan and I were invited to in New York, in the Big Apple. I was in the middle of a conversation with Mark Slaughter. Wow. Which she very rudely and unapologetically interrupted me. Oh, this is Jerry Miller, which she rudely and unapologetically interrupted me. Like she literally pulled him away from me with not so much as an excuse me or anything. I lost respect for her after that, as it was an unbecoming behaviors for a head honcho of America's biggest metal magazine at the time. But at least she did not swoop in while I was talking to my heartthrob, Blas Elias. Oh. How does Eric Carr feel about that? Okay, no. On a related note, I am sure this was just a girl thing, but depending on the situation with full-page photos, pinups, I would often have to buy double issues of whatever publication in any of my faves were back-to-back, if any of my faves were in there. So she had one to stack up to prove that she had the magazine, but she also had one that she was going to cut up and hang on the walls. That's all of my magazines ended up cut up and hung up on the walls. My walls were covered, not a lick of room anywhere on any of the walls. That's you. Get in the comments if you had a room like that. Miss Althea on Blackie Lawless. Totally could not handle that story because I was laughing too damn hard. A big, nasty, stinky is not what was coming out. Really? I cannot. Miss Althea says, Land of the Lost, topic revisited. And maybe should talk about some. Perhaps by the reading of this, you would have gotten through season 2. No. And started season 3. Spencer Milligan, who played the father, Rick Marshall, left the show after season 2 due to a contract salary dispute. However, the show carried on, and that's okay. Here we go. And it carried on. Season 3 opened with Rick Marshall's brother, Jack, Uncle Jack. That's what you were talking about? Somehow finding his way into the portal of the Land of the Lost. Lame. Okay, well, I haven't looked on Tubi. I was watching it on Amazon Prime, and they got season 1, season 3, and then you said Tubi, but then what did I look up? I started watching something. Oh, I was watching that Man in Full or something with Jeff Daniels. Seize the day, take on the tasks at hand, okay? Get up, brush teeth, wash ass, get out, seize day. You can do it. Anyone giving you grief, get them out. Anything that's holding you back, get rid of it. Anything that's an obstacle in your way of being completely and 100% happy, it's got to go. Got to go right now. What the hell is that? Let's go. Let's see. Come on, baby. I want a song. Come on. Come on, guys. All right, we're doing this one. Hey, baby, where you going downtown? Hey, honey girl, put something in your ears when you're headed downtown. Gonna listen to Jive Talk with Shane. It's so good, so fun, make you feel good inside. Hey, baby girl, where you going on the subway? Why don't you listen to Shane and podcast? It's called Jive Talkin, heavy metal music, hard rockin'. He talks about the fun things of the day. You just relax